Yo guys, what's up? Back for another video. Day 6. I'm walking through the cemetery again, trying to find some peace and quiet, trying to find a little sun. But it seems like there are a lot of people in here today, probably because it's a nice day and it's actually like fucking warm outside. So I was telling you guys, I bought that program. It's a 30-day program to challenge yourself. Each day you do a challenge. It's like a social challenge, and it gets progressively harder each day. So today was day 2, and I found that I did it, and I did it without hesitation. And I think I picked up on that idea from like a pickup artist. He's not really a pickup artist. He's a guy that like really does more so like approach stuff, but with his approaches he's trying to get you to like approach girls that you don't just want to like sleep with, you want to actually like have, you know, a potential relationship with. So he's more of like, he is a pickup artist and he's an approach artist, but it's more so for like really being confident and really building a relationship with someone. And one of his like videos was like, I don't even remember what it was, but one of the things that you should like practice doing is, if you're gonna do a bunch of approaches, you should approach girls within 3 seconds of seeing them. And to me, that's like really bold and that's like really ballsy, because it's like there's a difference in approaching girls that like, you know, like you back, they give you signals, but just going up to a girl within 3 seconds of seeing her, she has no idea if you like her or if she likes you. And so my challenge for day 2, which was like the first day challenge, was like sign up for like the Facebook group or something. So that wasn't even hard. That's like easy as hell. But today was basically day 1, even though it was technically day 2. So I had to call a local business and ask for a movie recommendation. And the guy who put together the program, he shows us how to do it. He has like a tutorial guide, and he does it, and he shows you like, he like calls a local business, or I think he actually calls a person. And so there's like a basic mode and an advanced mode. And what he does was, he got on White Pages and he called like a random person like in Houston. I think that's where he lives. And he was just like, hey, how are you? And they're like, good. And he's like, got any movie recommendations for me? And the dude's like clearly not having it, and he's like, nope. And he's like, any action? And the guy's like, nope. And he's like, any dramas? The dude's like, nope. Any comedies? Nope. And so I just followed suit. I called Barnes and Noble and was like, the lady answered, I think her name was like Karen or something, and she's like, hello, Barnes & Noble, how can I help you? Like, or she's like, how may I direct your call? And I was like, hey, how are you? And there was just a silence. And she was like, good. And I was like, hey, I'm looking to see a movie. Like, do you have any movie recommendations for me? And there was kind of a silence again. And she's like, like, are you looking for a DVD? Because she's like working at a bookstore, so she's probably trying to see how this like fucking relates to like why. She's probably like, why the hell is this guy calling? Like, why are you calling a bookstore about a movie? But guys, the thing was, it wasn't that awkward. Like, the silences were awkward, but looking back, they weren't really awkward. It's just more so like, I just realized that in the recording of this video. And there was something else I just realized, but I can't remember it. Fuck. But anyway, yeah, I was like, no, like any comedy, any action, any drama. Or I think she was like, what kind of movies do you like? And I was like, I usually like an action movie or an adventure movie. And she's like, I'm not really a movie person, but have you heard of that movie called Parasite? And I was like, oh yeah, that foreign film that won a bunch of Oscars that's like subtitled. Some people were saying that was weird to how that happens. That's like a kind of like a peculiar thing. she's like, yeah, sorry, like I don't really know that many. And then I was in this coffee shop when I called, and it was really loud. And so, like, honestly, guys, was the only awkward thing was how she just kept saying like, hey, can you repeat yourself? It's like really loud where you're at. I can't hear you. And the thing that I struggle with the most is like expressing myself around people sometimes. Like, I found when I first started to develop like sort of like some social anxiety, like that is the thing that I get kind of embarrassed, like when people know my life and know what I'm doing, even though there's a part of me that like wants that attention. I think that's natural with everyone, but that's why I bought this program, because I wanted to like really focus on that. And I thought when I actually just remembered, I realized something. I went into the call with the mentality of like, fuck it, I'm just gonna call, and I'm gonna even challenge myself a little bit more. And that's why I stayed in the coffee shop, because I knew people would have to, I knew my brain would be like, oh, people are listening to you. Why is a dude calling a bookstore? Like, they had no idea who the hell I was calling. And, you know, who I was asking for a movie recommendation from and why. So, like, I knew my brain would come up with those things of, like, making me nervous. And holy shit, I just realized that now, guys. Like, they don't know who I called. They have no idea if I was talking to a friend. They have no idea, like, you know, who I was talking to, why I was calling. Like, they probably weren't even paying attention to me now that I think about it. And I kind of looked around after, and no one even batted an eye. Like, it was literally so loud in the coffee shop that, like I said, that was the only awkward part. And if I would have stepped out, like, the conversation probably would have even fucking been easier, because she wouldn't have been like, and it wouldn't have been awkward at all. Like, because those silences really weren't that awkward. I just waited. And she was just like more so confused. But the thing was, she was like, I remember this now. She was like, when I first asked, she was like, after she said the DVD thing, she was like, I can look them up for you. Like, I can look something up for you. And from that point, she was like just trying to help me. Like, so yeah, guys, like that was my experience with that. The thing it really taught me also was that, like, David, the guy who came up with the program, whose program I bought, he was like, guys, be direct. Don't even explain yourself. Like, you can explain yourself if you're too nervous. But I've done enough like social challenges to where I wanted to challenge myself. And like, the thing I realized was she was totally normal. Like, she was a little confused at first because I called a fucking bookstore, but then she was just trying to help me. Like, and what I realized is, you literally don't need a reason to ask anyone anything, to say anything to anyone. Like, I know I get freaked out sometimes when random people like talk to me who I don't know, like strangers, but that's just because of my own programming of seeing like murder movies and shit. Like, honestly, not everyone thinks like that though. Not everyone has the same internal life that I have, so not everybody's gonna think the same thing. And man, there was one other thing I wanted to point out, guys, and I don't remember what it was, but all I know is that I now know that, like, I didn't need a reason to like do something. And hell yeah, I was nervous. Hell yeah, I was shaking when I first called. But I called them, and I called that lady at Barnes and Noble, and it wasn't even bad. Like, after I started talking to her, I just still tried to stay open and confident, like stay in that mentality of like not giving a fuck. And I was able to like adapt to what she was saying. Like, she said something about Parasite, and then I said that just like came off the top of my head, and I was like, oh yeah, the whole thing about the Oscar thing and it being a foreign film. And that's what one of those dating coaches said too. He was like, you guys, if you're really confident and you go up to a girl and you just say, hey, my name's Luke, what's your name? Like, it shows them how confident you are, because you don't need a reason to go up to them. You don't need it to be like the perfect moment, or you don't need to be like, oh, I have something to talk about in my environment. Like, some books that I've read say like, oh, use your environment, and like that's definitely true, and that's a good icebreaker, but then it just all depends on how you want to do the approach. So that's the stuff I realized today. Day 6 was a good day, guys. Like, every time I like put myself through these challenges, I grow a little bit, and it's weird. Like, I noticed that my mind is also saying like, man, can life really be this good? Like, I have that feeling right now of like, man, it's been a good day. Like, I pushed myself today. Like, and so that's my old programming talking to me, being like, you know, can you, stay comfortable. Like, that's how the brain works. Like, can life really be this good? And I know it can, because other people have experienced it. But yeah, guys, like, I hope you stayed throughout this whole video, because this video was fucking crazy. Like, this day was good as hell. And I noticed when I went to the gym right after that, I literally saw a girl that I had a crush on. Like, honestly, guys, I'm not even gonna lie. Like, I have a crush on a shit ton of girls. Like, I think so many girls are fucking beautiful, and I want to ask out literally all of them, but I know that's like not really reasonable. But I was not nervous, because like I had already put myself through that nervous situation, and I was stretching right next to this girl I always, like, I see all the time, and she's like really pretty. And honestly, I was literally just gonna like go up to her. Like, we were like a foot from each other, and I was just gonna be like, you're fucking gorgeous, like, bye. And then just like smile at her, be confident, and just like not even give a fuck. And I didn't do it, but I was like, I just noticed how usually in the past when I would think of doing that, like, usually in the past when I would think of doing that, I would get that like jolt down like your emotional middle, and you'd get that pit in your stomach. But I didn't get that today, because I already put myself through that that nerve-wracking situation. And it was so weird how like my nervous system was like calm after that. It was like, oh, like, I can call a random store, ask them a random conversation, like a random irrelevant thing. And so it's like, it's no different going up to a stranger. Like, I don't need a reason. So day 6, guys, I'm really trying to push myself. I know, like I said, this is not my first time on the reboot, not my first time on the journey. But if you watch my other video, I did accidentally see some not really adult content, but a girl in a swimsuit. And just depending on who you are, that can bug you a little bit. And that bugged me, so I still feel a little guilty about that. But yeah, guys, I'm gonna end the video. As always, it's been a good day, fucking 9 to 5. I'll see you guys later.